Hello, I'm Melinda, and welcome to Book Your Bucket List. I'm standing here in front of the magnificent Library of Celsus in Ephesus, Turkey, one of the most breathtaking destinations any traveler could experience. But for Christians, this place holds extraordinary significance. You see, this is where the Apostle Paul spent 3 transformative years of his ministry. And today, we're going to follow his incredible journey across the Mediterranean. As a travel agent, let me tell you, walking in Paul's footsteps isn't just a trip, it's a pilgrimage that changes you. Whether you're Christian or simply love history, these destinations will absolutely take your breath away.
Right here in Ephesus, Paul didn't just visit, he made this his home base for 3 entire years. Can you imagine? He walked these very marble streets, preached in the Agora, just steps from where I'm standing, and faced one of the most dramatic confrontations of his ministry, the riot of the silversmiths. The silversmiths were furious because Paul's message was so powerful, so convincing, that people stopped buying their silver shrines to the goddess Artemis. They dragged Paul's companions into this very amphitheater, which held 25,000 people. The entire city was in an uproar. It's recorded in Acts chapter 19. You can almost hear the echoes of that ancient chaos. From Ephesus, let's journey to Athens, Greece, to Mars Hill, also called the Areopagus. This is where Paul delivered one of history's most brilliant sermons. Picture this, Paul, a Jewish tent maker, standing before the intellectual elite of Athens, philosophers, scholars, the cultural sophisticates of their time. And how did he begin? I see that you are very religious. He didn't attack their beliefs, he found common ground. He quoted their own poets, and when he spoke about the unknown God they worshipped, he revealed to them the true God they'd been seeking all along. In Corinth? Corinth was Paul's ministry headquarters for 18 months. This wasn't a quick stop, this was home. He worked as a tent maker by day with Aquila and Priscilla and preached by night. The people here, they were diverse, multicultural, dealing with all the temptations of a major port city. Paul's letters to the Corinthians, they're so relevant today because human nature hasn't changed. The marketplace where Paul worked and preached, you can still walk through those ancient stones. Philippi holds a special place in Christian history. It's the first European city where Paul preached the gospel. Europe. Can you imagine being part of that moment? And it began with a group of women, including Lydia, a successful businesswoman who sold purple cloth. After her conversion, her entire household was baptized. But Paul's time in Philippi wasn't easy. He and Silas were beaten and thrown into prison. Yet even in chains, they sang hymns at midnight. Their faith was so powerful that when an earthquake freed them, they didn't escape. Instead, they led their jailer to Christ. Modern Thessaloniki still buzzes with energy, just like it did when Paul arrived here. This was a major trade route, filled with Jews, Greeks, Romans, people from everywhere. Paul preached in the synagogue for 3 Sabbaths, and many believed, both Jews and prominent Greek women. But jealousy arose, and Paul had to leave quickly for his safety. Yet the church here became so strong, so committed, that Paul wrote them 2 beautiful letters that still encourage believers today. Antioch. This is where it all began for Paul's missionary journeys. This bustling Syrian city was incredibly diverse. Jews, Greeks, Romans, all living together. And it was here, right here, that followers of Jesus were first called Christians. Can you imagine? The very name we use today, it started in Antioch. This was Paul's launching pad for changing the world. Every journey, every adventure, every life-changing moment, it all began here. In the region of Lystra and Derbe, Paul experienced both triumph and tragedy. In Lystra, he healed a man who'd never walked, and the people thought Paul and Barnabas were gods. They literally tried to worship them. But Paul's humility shone through. He redirected their amazement to the true God. Yet later, enemies from other cities stirred up trouble. They stoned Paul and left him for dead outside the city. But Paul got up. He got up and went right back into the city. That's the kind of courage that changed the world.
Cyprus, beautiful sun-drenched Cyprus. In Paphos, Paul encountered a sorcerer named Bar-Jesus, who tried to prevent the Roman governor from hearing the gospel. Paul, filled with the Holy Ghost, struck the sorcerer blind, and the governor believed. One of the first high-ranking Roman officials to convert to Christianity. The archaeological sites here are stunning. Roman mosaics, ancient harbors. You can almost see those ancient ships arriving with Paul and Barnabas, ready to change the world. And Salamis. This is where it all began for Paul's first missionary journey. He and Barnabas preached in the Jewish synagogues here before heading across Cyprus. It's amazing to think. Every step we've traced today, every life that was changed, every church that was planted, it started right here in Salamis.
Now, if you're inspired to follow Paul's footsteps yourself, and trust me, you should be, let's talk about the best times to visit this incredible region. The absolute best months are April through June and September through October. You'll have pleasant temperatures, usually in the 70s to low 80s, perfect for exploring archaeological sites. Summer can be quite hot, especially in Turkey. We're talking mid-90s, but that's also when everything is most vibrant and alive. Winter months are cooler, around 50 to 60 degrees, fewer crowds, but some sites might have limited hours. Each season is special. Now, these 10 locations I've shared with you, they're the highlights, the must-sees. But Paul visited so many other places during his 3 missionary journeys. Some are accessible today. Others, well, they're lost to time or difficult to reach. Places like Iconium, Berea, Troas, each has its own story. You might not find all of these on a single tour. It could take multiple trips or a beautifully customized journey to see them all. But isn't that exciting? More adventures to plan, more reasons to explore. You know, as a travel agent, I don't just book trips for my clients. I love to check these incredible destinations off of my bucket list as well. That way, when someone comes to me dreaming of walking where Paul walked, I can share not just the logistics, but the emotions, the spiritual impact, the wonder of these places. And here's something beautiful. When you help someone else experience their bucket list destination, when you see their faces light up with wonder, you're not just earning income, you're creating memories that last lifetimes. There's something incredibly fulfilling about turning dreams into reality.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice you've been exploring here. What's been the best part of your visit to Ephesus?
Oh, wow. Honestly, standing in that amphitheatre where Paul's friends were dragged during the riot. I could almost hear the crowds, but this library behind us, it's just breathtaking. To think Paul walked these same streets for 3 years. It makes everything so real, so personal. This place, it moves you, you know?
That's exactly what I love hearing. Thank you so much for sharing. Following Paul's footsteps isn't just about visiting ancient ruins. It's about connecting with a story that changed the world. Whether you're seeking spiritual inspiration, incredible history, or simply breathtaking destinations, these places will exceed every expectation. If you love to travel, if you love helping others create memories, then maybe you should consider becoming a travel agent too. Imagine earning an income helping families and couples create their own bucket list adventures.
The world is always changing, so be sure to check entry requirements in advance. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and remember, your bucket list is waiting.